once said, all it takes for evil to prevail is for a
Mm.
good man to do nothing.
Yeah, that's true. Amen. That's right.
What's your name and your badge number? First Amendment, you ever heard of it?
Welcome to the show. I'm Lee Michaels, and thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to be real quick here and jump to this because I'm excited about the guest that I have on the show today. I've never met the man in person. This is the first time I'm getting a chance to see him other than on YouTube. And I've built this tremendous amount of respect for this guy because of what he's doing. He hails out of the area of South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and he's doing something that is so needed. And that's what's got me to the level where I really, really respect what this guy is doing. He goes by the name of Big Nick. And let me tell you something. The name represents what this guy is doing. He is confronting the injustice that goes on when it comes to you, John Q. Public, as it relates to your encounters with the police. He puts it down. He ain't cutting no slack. He's not afraid. And I'm going to get into a little interview with him here today. Big Nick, welcome to the show.
Lee, I'm honored. Thank you so much for even considering to speak with me. This is a tremendous honor for me, and I thank you, my brother.
No, my honor. I mean, it's all on our end here. My wife and I are big fans of yours. We watch every video, and I just became acquainted with you probably in the last couple of months. So, and I know, well, it's probably been about 3 months, and I
Okay.
know you've been kind of quiet lately because of COVID. And
Yes.
you know, hats off to you. That you got to be smart and be safe. And
Yes.
good thing you're doing that. And is that Little Nick?
This is Little Nick here. This is Nicholas the Second here.
All right. What's up, Little
He's,
Nick?
he's he's everything to me right now. So I really have to go hard in my mission to
Yeah.
for government accountability now.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you got a full-time job there with the little one, and I saw you celebrating your birthday on YouTube, and you introduced your two daughters.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you got a full hand.
I'm a single father with two teenage daughters and a 3-month-old. And,
Wow.
it's just, I'm living the American dream.
Well,
This is exactly what the dream is or the idea. A lot
yeah,
of people may not be in love with America, but you have to be in love with the idea of America. And
absolutely.
that's what I focus on, the idea of America.
Now, tell me, were you born and raised in South Florida?
I was born and raised in South Florida in the early 70s, actually 1970.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a lot of disparity and despair. My mother was a young teenage drug addicted prostitute. My
Mm-hmm.
father was actually her pimp.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen it all. I've been there. I've done that. And through me growing up that way, I've always had a sense of community in me
Yeah.
where I wanted to. But I didn't know what it was, Lee. I didn't know what it was. It was just something that was always in me. And no matter how many jobs I had, I was not fulfilled in those jobs, if you can
Hmm.
understand.
Yeah. Well, you came from a difficult background, and many of us have come from difficult backgrounds, and we survived. We were able to get a grip on something that pulled us forward
Yes.
and allowed us to excel. So now, give me a little background about your life. Let me try to move this thing down a little bit because
Okay.
I know we're trying to represent, and I'm
Yeah, let's just
representing.
explain why we're wearing these in our
Yeah,
house because
absolutely.
this is a form of protest because
Hmm.
a lot of people in our community, and I just want to say our community, a lot of people, let's say in our income bracket,
Hmm.
are the ones that's being mostly affected because the information is not getting to us in the way it should be.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're not wearing our masks. We're not doing everything to protect ourselves and our families.
yeah.
But this is just our way of protesting to these people so that it's okay to wear a mask.
You better.
So,
It's life or death. And listen, I'm in that age bracket that is more susceptible to coming down with the disease.
yes,
I don't have any real serious underlying health conditions, knock on wood, but
yes,
I could, you know what I
yes,
mean? Just in
yes,
probably a 1 mile radius from where we
yes,
live, have been several people who have
yes.
come in contact with the virus, and they're not here anymore. So
And the most
I don't take
common way
it
is
lightly.
most people are asymptomatic.
Right. And we don't know.
So and most people don't discuss their health issues with their families or their friends.
That's
So you
true.
never know who you're gonna infect with it. So it's
Yeah.
just best to be safe.
Yeah.
And they can call us sheep. They can call us, being led or whatever. If there's a probability of protecting yourself,
Hmm.
protect yourself. I plan on living till I'm 250 years old.
There
So
you
I'm going
go.
to do everything in my power to make sure I reach my goal.
Well, I hope you make it, brother. I'm pushing for you. I'm betting on
I'm going
you.
to make it. That's a done deal. That's written already. But then
Now,
I'm going to decide what I'm going to do after that.
I hear you. Now, I
And
understand that we had
no one came back and told me nothing about the other side.
that,
So
right?
it's the devil I know
There you
versus the
go.
one I don't.
That's right. That's good. I love that. Now, we were chatting yesterday, and you mentioned that you did some time in the military.
I did. I
Yeah.
did.
What branch were you in?
There's only one branch, Lee. There's only one
Oh
branch.
boy, here we go.
The rest are hanger-ons. There's only one branch, and that's the United States Navy.
The United
And
States Navy. Yep.
it's the reason why. we're the only branch that works with nuclear weapons. Let's face it.
You know what? I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right. On a daily basis, yeah.
Hey,
On those
Star Trek
ships,
is the Navy.
yeah, that's
Star
true.
Trek, the movie, that's the Navy. It's
Yeah,
only one
yeah,
branch.
yeah.
So yeah, I served 6 years in the United States Navy. I was stateside the entire time. I was stationed
Wow.
out in California,
Well,
and
you got
like,
lucky.
and I blew you away when I told you that I never saw a ship. I
Yeah,
was never on
that's
a ship.
amazing. When you told me you were stationed or based in at 29 Palms, California, which is right next to Palm Springs,
Yes,
and that's
yes,
nothing out there but desert,
yes, yes.
hot
And the
and
Joshua
cold.
tree, and
Yeah,
the Joshua tree.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So that's and when you said that, I went Navy and 29 Palms. I
Yeah,
never knew that there was a naval base there.
yes.
So what kind of job did you do in the Navy?
I was a dental assistant. Um, so the Navy provides a lot of because they own and operate the Marine,
Right,
and the
right.
Marines was basically the fighting unit of the Navy.
That's it.
So they have to focus on protecting, its assets, America and allies abroad.
Right.
So they really don't have time to become doctors or so the Navy provides that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And since dental industry is a part of the medical field, I was stationed there as their support for their
Right.
dental.
Yeah. My uncle, my favorite uncle, Uncle Bill, was in the Navy during World War II, and he was a medic.
Yeah,
So he was out there on the front line and with the Marines. And at one point, they even transferred him over and made him a Marine during the war.
yes,
And
yes.
then by the time he came back home, they had transferred him back into the Navy. My
Yes.
dad was in World War I. He was Army. I had a
Okay.
brother-in-law that was Navy. So I've got military all around me, and I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. So couldn't
Oh,
help it.
yeah. You know what? You're a Navy guy yourself. You're a Navy man yourself. And
Yep,
I can
that's
tell you
true.
why. I can tell you why I decided to go to the Navy. My original my original choice was the Air Force,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm one of those pretty boys. So
If you
I
say
wanted
so
to do
yourself. Huh?
I, I wanted to get the benefits without all of the grit and grind. So
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the Air Force because my family is Army.
Okay.
My family's Army, and I remember as a child, I used to be so excited when my uncles and aunts would come home from
Yeah.
leave
Yeah.
because I love them so much and I admire them. But all I would hear is the stories about them going to the field, and they
Uh-huh.
would be in the field 45 days.
Mm.
I knew that wasn't something I wanted to do.
I
I'm a
hear you,
pretty
bro.
boy. I have to shower.
Yeah.
Um, so I wasn't going to the Army. The Marines was absolutely
Out.
no go for me.
I hear you.
And I never even thought about the Navy. But when I went to the Air Force, the recruiter wasn't that interested in me. So
Hmm.
I walked outside and went next door to the Navy, and the recruiter there acted like I was his long lost son.
Right. There you go.
And me growing up without a father per se,
Hmm.
I was, hey, you got me at hello.
There you
So that's
go.
how I went to the Navy, and it was the best decision I ever made.
That's great. Well, listen, let's talk about what you're doing now.
Okay.
How did you get started in going out auditing the police and things that you see out in your neighborhood?
Okay, great question. Now this was after Trayvon Martin.
Hmm.
This is after Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice. What happened was, and like I told you, I always felt something inside of me that I wanted to. I always felt this sense of community where I wanted to do something. It was something inside of me, and but that didn't really affect me, I guess, so to speak. I was upset about it. I was concerned about it, but what could I do? I'm just making
Right.
a lot of it. And then I heard the news broadcast about this kid up in Seattle, Washington, I believe, by the name of Stephon Clark.
Hmm.
He was the one that was shot 19 times, holding up his cell phone in his grandmother's backyard.
Hmm.
Now, why that particular incident touched me so much is because my name is Nicholas Stephon.
Mm.
So it just resonated. It like
Yeah.
clicked
Yeah.
with me right there, that
Hit home.
resonated with me. And I found myself being really angry about that situation. So still, I didn't want to, I had no idea I was going to do this. I
Hmm.
just wanted to get on YouTube and find where people that look like me actually ran away from the cop and made the cop look silly and got away. And
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
wanted to see the cops being embarrassed by people running away. And as I was searching for that, I ran across some channels that actually does what I do.
Hmm.
And I started watching them. And the one that really resonated with me was this brother called Joe Citizen Ho,
Yeah, I've seen him.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like most, I was like most of the people in my community. Boy, don't talk to them people like that. Boy, don't, they will do this to you. Oh, no, don't. If they say do something, just do it. I was one of those people until
Yeah.
I started listening to this brother. Whoa. And then I started looking, YouTube,
Hmm.
they give you videos in that genre.
Right.
So the next video may not be his, but it's something similar.
Somebody
And then
else. Right.
I ran across other channels, and then I started hearing the educational part, right? I started hearing the educational part. Then I say, well, I can do that. I know that already. And one day I just picked up my cell phone and I walked over to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, and here I am being interviewed by you.
Wow. So tell me about some of the experiences that you've had when you encounter police officers doing what they do. Have they been receptive to you or give you a lot of pushback? How does that go?
The first year, Lee, the first year I was arrested 6 times.
Whoa.
6 times, all for exercising my First Amendment right. I didn't break the law one time.
Were they
However,
overturned?
um, well, 5 I was acquitted.
Okay.
One, I accepted a no contest plea, and I'll tell you why. The cops wanted to charge me with disorderly conduct because I was giving them an earful. But I advised the cops that you're not allowed to be the complainant.
Hmm.
You can't charge me with that. You have to have someone has to say that they're complaining against me and I refuse to stop.
Right.
So what this cop did while I was in handcuffs, he went and solicited a complainant. And guess who the complainant was?
Wow.
A little 14-year-old, blue-eyed, whitest kid in America.
Wow.
And the report read that he was afraid, that I made him feel unsafe. There was nowhere in the world I was going to trial
Yeah.
against little Johnny America with
Yeah.
the bluest
Yeah.
eyes you ever seen.
Right.
So I
Right.
just accepted the plea, the no contest. And that's how they got me on that. But the other 5 was acquitted.
Yeah.
So I have been arrested 6 times. I've been arrested all in public places,
Hmm.
all in places that we as the public we own.
Right.
Um, the cops don't like defiance. They don't like their perceived authority to be questioned.
Yeah. That's right.
And They're ego
That
driven.
really gets them out. They lose it.
Yeah, they're ego driven.
Yeah, yeah, because they're not used to being challenged.
Absolutely.
And when you're challenging them and you have the law on your side, and many times I've seen probably 100 of these different audits around the country, including yours. And it's funny because a lot of times you're educating them about the law, what they can and cannot do, and what your rights are. And and it's so funny when you have them walk away and get that walk of shame going down. it's I,
You
I
gotta
crack up.
remember. You gotta remember. It takes 6 months to be a police officer. It
Yeah,
takes 2 years to be a barber. Right.
yeah,
So police officers, they work in code, penal code.
right,
They don't work in the law. They know
right.
that's why whenever you're arrested or someone's arrested and they go sit in their car
Hmm.
while you're detained, they're looking up a penal code. They put in a
Wow,
general statement as to what they perceive
right,
is going on, and then the penal code comes up. They don't
right.
know the law.
That's too funny. Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's
So
how
they
it
operate in
works.
penal code.
That's too funny. Has any of the police officers gotten physical with you?
Fortunately for me, not yet. No, I
Okay.
haven't been abused.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think mostly because in my county, Broward County, it's a very liberal county.
Hmm.
It goes blue 99% of the time
Right.
when voting,
Yeah.
and not to disparage anybody that's on the right, but to me, my experience is the blue brand are a lot more socially conscious.
Hmm.
So the cops are not as violent or abusive, but
Hmm.
it doesn't mean they're not right violating.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it doesn't stroke their ego or they want complete dominance and control.
Hmm.
But no, I haven't been maced, I haven't been tased, I haven't been
Hmm.
beaten up or
Hmm.
anything like that. Hence, why I'm still struggling to take care of 3 kids. Because if I was, oh, best believe.
Now I've seen a few. I've seen a few other guys that do what you do, have filed suits against municipalities, and actually won. I've seen a
Yeah,
couple of guys walk away with 75 or $100,000 and what have you.
yeah,
And and I think it's necessary for those type of lawsuits to come about because that brings more attention to the injustice and how the public is being mistreated
yeah.
by police officers. Now, let me just say this. I, I'm not one of those that say all police officers are bad because they're not all bad.
Right.
Okay, there's some good guys out there. I've had a couple of traffic stops. I've never been, in a serious problems, but and sometimes they come up and they're kind of cowboyish.
Yeah,
And I'll just, be professional and keep my hands up on the wheel and give them what they're looking for. But I will ask questions. So why did you stop me? One guy got me for holding my cell phone, and I had another one. I have two phones. I had one up on the dashboard in a cradle, and I'm at a stoplight, not
yeah,
moving. And I know
yeah.
the light because it's in my neighborhood. It's a long ass light. So I've sat there because I got a text from a client. Now I have a limo service that I
Okay.
was doing prior to this crazy business of COVID, but the guy pulled me over. I said, dude, he said, you cannot have the phone in your hand. That's state law in California. Whoop, de whoop, de whoop. I said, come on, man. Really? He said, you can't do it. Get another cradle. I said, you can't give me a warning. Guy gave me a $325 ticket.
Wow.
Nuts. So, things like that. You go, really? Come on, give me a warning. I'm a
Yeah.
professional driver. I don't need this on my record. I
And,
didn't hurt nobody. Come on. I
and
didn't.
they have it in their discretion.
Of
The cops
course they
have
do.
discretion.
Of course. And
But
I think that's
it's
what
almost like
enrages people.
it's almost like and not to get religious or anything like this. It's almost like the God has a plan, but He gives you free will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my free will shouldn't be able to change God's plan, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's almost like the cops. They have discretion, but they also have a quota.
Yeah.
They literally have a quota as to how many traffic infringements if they're on the traffic patrol,
Hmm.
how many they have to write. So where's the discretion?
We're having a conversation with Big Nick from South Florida in the Fort Lauderdale area. I discovered Big Nick on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel called Big Nick, and look him up. You'll be amazed at some of the videos that he has up there with his encounters with police officers, and many times he's just filming, maybe going into like a police department or a post office or any public place, and invariably they will come up and approach him, and that's when the engagement starts. I go, oh boy, Big Nick getting ready to jack his ass up. It's over.
It depends on how they approach me. You know,
Yeah,
if they approach me with
that's it.
if they approach me within the confines of the law, I am not a criminal. I'm
Right.
going to obey the law.
Right.
If they approach me outside the confines of law, then they're just another adult to me, and
Yeah.
I'm going to speak to them any manner as I please
Yeah.
because we're just two adults that's having a disagreement.
That's it. That's it. And that's what that kind of upsets many of them, because you're not supposed to, give them no talk. You can't
That's
talk
right.
back to the cops.
I'm the law.
Right. Yeah. But see, in that law, your First Amendment rights cannot be violated either. And that's
Congress
what you're
shall pass
standing up
no
for.
laws.
Right. Now, in the state of Florida, that's an open carry, right?
No.
Conceal. You can do
Concealed
conceal.
carry.
Conceal.
There are caveats. There are caveats, Lee. If you're going hunting, camping, fishing, you can open carry.
Okay.
To and from.
Right. Do you own a firearm?
I do not.
Okay.
And I would absolutely fight for the Second Amendment, but I am a gun pacifist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to purchase a firearm because I see this in this country right now. It might be needed.
Yeah.
But I hope I never have to use it. But I am anti-gun to a point because, like I said, I'm a pacifist, and guns only have one purpose.
Yeah.
I don't care what people tell me. It only has one purpose.
Yeah,
And
I agree with you. And
I don't want to kill.
yeah, my concern with owning a gun, and I don't own a gun either. I have at one time when I lived in New York City.
Yeah.
But I decided I didn't want that because I didn't want the responsibility and the liability of having a gun in my home and then that gun get in the wrong hands. A child or neighbor or whatever. Even if you lock it up,
Yeah.
people can get to it if they want to get to it.
Yes.
And I didn't want that on my head.
And we're human. And we're human. We get angry.
Yeah.
And men.
That too.
And men. The only thing a man on this planet has is his ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's the first thing that's attacked. It's the first thing that's attacked.
That's
and
so
we're
true.
ego driven. So, I just don't want that. I don't want that responsibility of controlling my ego. Oh, I got this in the house. Stay right there.
Right.
And then you know what? You almost go get the gun, and now you got to come out.
That's
and
right.
there's a crowd around. Now you have to prove to people that you're not a punk.
Yeah.
And all because of that little gun. It puts you in a situation that I don't want to be in.
Yeah. So now I know you've been quiet a little bit on your channel. You haven't been out there, and that makes sense because who wants to be out there with a virus that's killing people?
Right.
What's your next step? I mean, do you have any plans or where you want to take the channel or what you do?
Well, I want to do basically what you do.
Okay.
I want to do more of a panel show.
Okay.
Just to bring, but I don't want it to be a cookie cutter. I want it to be educational. And I have to admit, right now, too, you may have a multitude of listeners from all the different ethnic backgrounds and culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I spend 99% of my time is around my community, Blacks. So my main focus is to getting the word out to my community.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say it this way, and I believe I explained this to you, that we're all proud to be Black.
Absolutely.
I'm the blackest man in America,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But before I'm a Black man, Lee, I'm an American.
Yep.
And we have to realize that being Black in America has never gotten us anything. And, I don't mean that disparaging, But it's true. It's fact. When you go get a job, when you apply for that job, they don't say, let me see your skin color. They say, let me see your social security card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go try to get that brand new Mercedes, they don't say, let me see your skin color. Let me see your credit score. So we have to realize and focus first that we're an American. And when you realize that you're an American, you realize that the Bill of Rights are afforded to you. The Constitution protects you, right? So we have to use those things to our advantage. And we can
Absolutely.
still be proud to be Black. We can still be proud of our culture. We can still be proud of who we are. But it's okay to be a proud American as well.
And I think that's why there's so many upset people, especially in the younger generation, even in my generation. I mean, I remember the days when I had to go to the back of the bus. I'm old
Yes,
enough to remember that. When I tell my kids about those experiences, they look at me like, "What? You had to do what?" No, I said, "Yeah, that's the way it was." So yes, we have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go.
right.
And it's going to take the generations behind us to take it to the next level. And I think that's what's driving so many people crazy, that has not embraced the fact that we are all, like you said, Americans first. And I've had this conversation with people who don't believe in the same ideals that I have
Right.
and that you share. And they said, well, why do you have to make a big deal of it? Because we have to, because you haven't accepted it yet and embraced the fact that we are all equal. That just they can't swallow that pill. And as long as they're resisting that, things are not going to progress. And that comes down to the relationships between the public, minorities, and the relationship with the police officers.
Yes,
Nobody's trying to take away them to defunding the police. What does that mean, really? It could be literal, or it could be, let's take some of the funds that is allocated to certain programs within the police departments and allocate it back into the community that
absolutely.
needs that help. Okay. How
Absolutely.
many military Humvees do you need in your police department? Do you really need, military artillery? Then if you need it, if it's that bad, then shame on you, because you allowed it to get that bad, because of
Absolutely.
the lack of relationships within the community and the police departments. And
Absolutely.
that's all over the country.
Well, I have an edict. I always say that before 9/11, there was community policing.
Hmm.
After 9/11, they became law enforcement.
Yeah.
So we have to get back to the point of community policing. And like you said, you remember the days when you had to ride on the back of the bus. But I'm also sure that you remember the days when you knew the cop by name that
Oh,
was in your
absolutely.
neighborhood. You
Absolutely.
the cop probably turned on his siren for you. I remember when they started the bike patrol in my neighborhood, and the cops would put us on the handlebars and let us ride on the bike with them or
Yeah.
show us the
Yeah.
bike,
That's
and
right.
we knew them by names and they knew us, and you
That's
know,
right.
and if we did something wrong at the playground, they didn't take us to jail. They would walk us home.
That's right.
But
That's
that
right.
has changed and became law enforcement after that.
That's
And
true.
when you have a law enforcement, unfortunately, now you bring out people like me. You
Hmm.
try to remind them, since you're going to be a law enforcer, if there's no law to enforce, you have no purpose.
That's it. You can go home.
You go
There's
home,
no problem here. You want to
you know?
create a problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's where the heads bump. Yeah, but you're right. I remember those days. They used to have police officers in my hometown walking the beat. Sometimes it was one by himself. Many times it was two, especially downtown. It was two guys walking around. They didn't even have bicycles. They were walking,
Right. And they
and
knew
we knew
everyone's
them.
name.
Yeah, we knew them. Hey, Mr. Jones. One guy. I know you're not going to believe this, but one of the police officers' name was Rambo.
Okay. I can believe that.
Officer Rambo. And I mean, he was cool. We'd walk, but I'd have to walk to school. I didn't have no car. My parents didn't have a car. I walked to school. It was about 3 miles each way. So invariably, you pass a police officer. Either he was walking or he's in his car, and they'd wave to you. How you doing? You going to school? Yes, sir. No problem. And that was that kind of relationship. But that doesn't exist anymore. You young people, or even myself, I see a cop today, I'll get a little nervous. And
Yeah,
it shouldn't be that way. They're supposed to, what is that on the side of the car? Protect and
protecting the
serve?
serve. Most of them are taking that off the car. If
Yeah,
you know the
yeah,
car,
yeah.
most of
That's
them has
true.
taken that off the car.
That's
You
true.
know, and the thing about it is that now if we know a cop's name, it's because we had some type of interaction with them.
That's right.
But here's the reverse: none of them knows the neighborhood they patrol's name.
Yeah. They don't
They
live in
don't
those
know Miss
neighborhoods.
Johnson or they don't
Hmm.
know Mr. Haynes down. They don't know these people anymore
Hmm.
because you have three types of police officers. You have the ones that just want to come to work and get through the day and don't want to do too much paperwork, don't want to chase anybody, don't want to arrest anybody. They just want to
Hmm.
come to work. Then you have those
Right.
that want to assert their authority.
Hmm.
Then you have those that want a paycheck and a pension.
Hmm.
Out of those three, the ones that just want to come to work and get through the day, those are the scariest ones because those are the ones that's not going to get involved when they
Right.
see the ones that want to assert their authority.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are not going to say, hey, get your knee off that man's neck. you know.
Yeah.
So when you said that all of them aren't bad, you're absolutely right. But I'm going to go a step further and say that until I see one of them defending that cop taking me to jail for absolutely nothing, telling him, no, you can't do that, I
Right.
can't really say that they're good cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say this all the time.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. You might be a good person, but you're a terrible cop
Hmm. Yep.
because your job, even though, and this is the craziest also, is because being a police officer, being a pilot, being a surgeon, these jobs require perfection,
Hmm.
but we're not perfect. But it doesn't mean your job doesn't require perfection.
Right.
So you have to keep that in mind that being a cop, you literally, every time you come in contact with someone on the street, wherever you come in contact, you literally hold that person's life in your hand.
Hmm. Hmm.
So your job requires perfection. And when you're out working, when you're in that uniform, you're not a person at that moment to the government. You're a piece of equipment
Hmm.
because you don't have the same liberties and rights that I have.
That's right.
So you're no different from a staple in the government's eyes. You're a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So if you're a piece of equipment, then your job requires you to only do your job. Don't let your ego, don't let your anger, do not let that affect you because you can literally take my life.
That's right. And that's where the scary part comes in with most people. And it's a shame that you and I have to teach our kids how to communicate with when they come in contact with a police officer. Don't argue with them. Put your hands up on the wheel, steering wheel, and whatever they tell you to do, you do it because I want you to come home and have dinner with us tonight.
Yeah.
And you know,
And that's horrible.
yeah, it is because I have a lot of white friends, and they don't. When I tell them that's what I have to do, they go, "What? Why do you do that?" It's because of the color of my skin.
And because I got to tell you I have to do
That's right. That's right.
that.
You're kind of part of the problem because you
You're
don't say
kind of
it.
part of the problem because you
Yeah.
don't know I have to tell my
Yep.
kids that.
But now,
You know?
now in this most recent protest that turned violent in some cities, and that was instigated by outsiders that did that intentionally to turn a good thing, good trouble, into
Yeah,
bad trouble.
yeah,
Those were outside instigators, and I'll be damned if I want to stand up and say Black Lives Matter organization was doing all of that looting and stuff because I saw it firsthand and that was not the case. I saw people who were part of the peaceful protest stopping those people.
yes,
I also saw people paying young black boys money to go do stuff.
yes,
A white guy. And that was I saw that on CNN.
yes,
You saw
yes,
this guy go in his pocket and take some money. And it was two black kids on bicycles. Now, what he told them to do, I don't know. And that's the kind of corruption that's going on.
yes,
And the good thing gets blamed for the bad thing, which
yes,
they're not
yes,
connected. It really
yes,
isn't. So here we are in a situation now, in the most recent one was George Floyd that lost his life. Two, he was murdered.
Yes.
There's no question about that. They murdered that man. And what I'm afraid of, Big Nick, is they might get off. At least two of them. And
Um,
I,
I don't
I'm
know.
afraid of that, man.
I don't know. I think they got caught up in a perfect storm. I think they're going to be a scapegoat for the bigger picture. I
You
think they're
think
going
they're
to be
going to get locked up?
sacrificial lambs. I think they're going to be sacrificial lambs
Mm.
because unfortunately in America, Lee, um, a lot of us, a lot of us say, well, give us reparations, and I'm for reparations, right?
Hmm.
But it's not just about reparations, man. It's not. If you give me 40 acres and a mule, does that mean that now I don't have to tell my kids anymore when they ride down the road to keep their hands on the steering
Yeah.
wheel, to try to avoid eye contact, do not argue? Does that mean that? So sometimes you can throw us a bone
Yeah.
to stop us from being hungry at that moment, but tomorrow we're going to be hungry again.
Well,
But a lot of us, once we receive that stimulus of $1,200, right? All of a sudden, the government's okay with me.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
stimulus is going to run out, and we're going to
Yeah.
stop talking about
And
it.
nothing has changed.
Quiet, right? Nothing's changed, but we're going to be
Yeah.
quiet. And a
Yeah.
lot of times that happens.
Pacified.
So, and they know that. So if
Hmm.
they give us those sacrificial lambs,
Yep.
then
Yep.
guess what? We'll stop protesting. We'll stop speaking out because
Yeah.
they okay. Well, we gave you that
Right. What are you
until
complaining
the next.
about now? You asked for
Right,
reparations. We gave it to you. We gave you 40 acres and a mule, and your
right,
mule died.
right,
Now you want
right,
another mule. Well,
right.
damn right. Come on. So I hope and pray. Now, I'll tell you this. I've seen a lot of change in my lifetime, and I hope I see more change for the better. I hope that the people understand that we're at a crossroad right now. We're at the corner of walk and don't walk,
Yes,
stop or don't stop.
yes,
We got to keep moving forward. Okay.
yes,
Let's not let this man that created this little phrase, John Lewis, and all the hard work and ass whippings and 40 times locked up go in vain.
yes,
And all the others that he worked with, Martin Luther
yes,
King and Jesse Jackson and all the rest. It's a new day now,
yes,
okay, from that time period to today. You saw that in the protests all over the world because of a murder performed by cops.
yes,
What we see today is dramatically different than what it was in the 50s and 60s and 70s
yes,
because there was a lot of non-black people protesting.
absolutely.
And right now, there's still some cities around America, still people are protesting.
Yes,
And it ain't a lot of black people, it's white folks,
yes,
it's Hispanics, it's Asians, it's everybody. Why? Because everybody has been getting the beat down, either physically, mentally, economically, socially. Everybody's feeling this pain.
absolutely,
Now,
absolutely.
then, then you see this group of motorcycle guys going up. They say it was 250,000. I don't think it was that many this time in the years past. Up in Sturgis,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't understand that.
yeah.
I do and I don't. Anybody, as far as I'm concerned, with an IQ 2 points above plant life would not be on a damn motorcycle during a pandemic, hanging
Absolutely,
out, drinking beer, and talking. And
absolutely.
that's what that's all about.
Yes,
And and I say, well, don't you have any respect for yourself first and others? Is this event that important? What comes out of that social event?
well,
Well,
I want to ask you a question
mhm.
that I can't never seem to get the answer to, and I ask a lot of our community this question. America is about 14% African American, about 67% white.
Mhm.
If the tables were reversed,
Hmm.
can you and I honestly say it wouldn't be the same?
I don't know because we've never lived in that percentage. But
Well, we have a
what?
template. We have a
Yeah,
template. We have South Africa,
right. Well, that's true. But
and it's rough.
that what you just painted is what's driving the force behind what we're going through because the fear of losing that majority of power,
Right.
that transition is happening
It
in the
is.
next 20 years or so. The average Caucasian is going to be a minority in this country.
They're going to be the majority minority.
That's right. And it's not, the majority is not going to be black people.
It's going
It
to be
may
brown.
not even be Hispanic. It's going to be Asians. Now, what does that mean? The Asian rim, not just Chinese or Japanese, but Indians and that whole Asian rim. There's been a huge migration from that area to America, and that's the population that's growing. Now, in the combination thereof of all the Asian communities, the Hispanics and the blacks collectively will be the majority of the United States of America. You're probably looking at 50, 60, 70%. That's when the tables are going to flip. And it's not going to go peacefully, I don't think. Because when,
In
when
50
someone
years,
starts losing power,
in, in, in 50 years, they project America is going to be the largest non-Spanish speaking brown country in the world.
right. That's right.
Because it's happening. It's happening. I mean, people are falling in love. People are realizing that people are just people,
That's right.
and these babies are coming out brown,
That's right.
and that might be the only solution. That
Yeah.
if everyone looks alike, then that's how you eradicate racism. But
It's
you know
so
what I
true.
believe is a bigger case right now. What I'm more afraid of than racism, classism,
Yeah. It's an
because
offspring of it. Yep.
in America, Bob Johnson, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey in America do not experience racism. They're billionaires. Who's going to be racist
Yeah.
to Oprah?
Yeah. It's
They don't
different.
experience racism.
It's different at that level. It's
Right.
it's tolerated, but not really accepted.
But not
The pop,
shown either.
no, because look at Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's life really went to shit when he tried to buy NBC,
Yeah.
and they didn't want to sell NBC to Bill Cosby. They like Bill. Bill's a funny guy, and we like to hang out and party with him, and he's a swell guy. But no, bro, you can't buy NBC. Are you crazy? No
But
way.
Dr. Cosby's biggest downfall was arrogance.
Yeah, yeah,
You got to, I mean, I get in a lot of trouble when I have this discussion because Dr. Cosby admitted to it.
yeah. He's honest.
So when people say he shouldn't be in, I have to remind them that he admitted to it.
That's true.
So, and that was his
And
arrogance.
it was, and it was his arrogance, and he thought that well, look, we hang out at the same golf club and we play tennis together, and we got on the boats, but no, bro.
Brother OJ thought that too.
Yeah, well, that's my point. You can go, you can be an Oprah Winfrey or Michael Jordan and etc. But the but is
But
still there. The but
but
is still
you
there.
still Oprah, you still Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, and I haven't made billions of dollars, but I made a few dollars, and I know how I was treated and
Yeah,
accepted or not accepted.
right.
And there was a point in my career when I broke some barriers and made a lot of money. I was the only guy in the world that made the kind of money that I made.
Okay.
And there was a lot of resentment among from my own people and certainly
Absolutely. Absolutely.
non-black folks. How dare
Absolutely.
Lee Michaels make $1 million and making 75,000? I'm better than he is. That kind of
Absolutely.
stuff. I'm going, wait a
Absolutely.
minute, dude.
Absolutely.
Look at what I've achieved as a door opener for you.
Right.
I hope that that made it easier for somebody else to come through and ask for, a million, two and a half, $5 million to do what I used to do.
No,
So
man, you think you all that.
no, but I, I'm like you, man. See, and my wife gets on my case all the time. She, Lee, you need to tell people who you are. I said, no, that's not me. I want to help people. I want to continue to be me. I'm not changing. When I
Right,
when I watched the Democratic convention over the last 4 days, um, the whole thing was painting a picture of Joe, of who he is, who he
right,
was, and who he is.
right.
And that's kind of the way I am. I can't tell my story, but I can sell you. I can make
Absolutely,
you bigger than bubble gum. I,
absolutely,
I don't do that for me. And I
absolutely.
got friends that every day said, Lee, when you gonna do the book, man? When you gonna write your book? Y'all write that. I can't do that. I can't sit down and tell my story. I
Right,
don't have
right,
that kind of
right.
drive
I
or
don't have that ego. I
no,
don't
I
have
don't.
that
I
ego,
don't.
and I don't want my words
Yeah.
or my
Yeah.
accomplishments to be construed as ego.
Exactly. I can't do it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do it. But
Yeah, I mean,
that's
because even me, little old me, I have this pseudo celebrity, and it's like, no, man. To the people that I care about the most, I'm just Nick or Dad.
hmm hmm
So it's like it's weird to me to a point because I didn't do this for fame. I didn't do this for
hmm
status or celebrity. I didn't even do it for a YouTube check because I didn't even know YouTube pays.
hmm
I just did it because I want my community to.
Yeah, it was a purpose. The good that you were trying to do. Then we
I
got
just want
a
my
little
my
fuzzy.
community to be.
Yeah,
So,
it's the good that you're after. You're trying to educate, inform people about their rights and what they can and cannot do on both sides of the fence. The public as
right.
well as the police officers that you encounter. Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago that you want to do what I'm doing. In other words, you want to do have your own show kind of thing and interview people, maybe police officers or
Yes.
lawyers or
Exactly.
or people out on
Exactly.
the streets.
A panel show. Exactly.
I think you would be perfect at doing that, Nick. And I will make a commitment to you today that I will help you in any way that I can to achieve that for you and your family.
Yes. That's the ultimate goal. To not just give because I read my comments on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and a good friend of mine, Willie D, who's on YouTube, who's a celebrity in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, he said, the praise and comment, you don't remember any of them. But those critiques, they stand
Mm-hmm.
out like a sore thumb. You remember each and every one of them. And he's
Yep.
right about that. And a lot of my comments are, this is one-sided. This is what your point of view. I want to bring different perspectives as well. I want to bring
Mm-hmm.
the other side to see what
Mm-hmm.
everyone's thinking. Now, I believe that I would win a debate against Barack Obama. To me, the best debater I've ever seen in my life,
Yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
debater
He's
ever.
he's
But
good.
that is what I do. I debate, because if it doesn't make sense to me, then put it this way, Lee. I say I'm an average man, right? And
Right.
average is the majority. So if it don't make sense to me, it don't make sense
It, to most people, right? And I
to
agree with
most
you.
people.
And you're that voice. That's who you are. You're the
Yeah,
voice for that everyday guy. The
absolutely.
average guy. And that's powerful.
Yeah.
You got a big audience. Ain't no joke about that. So I encourage you to stay focused on that and continue to do what you're doing. And I want to try to help you in any way that I can. I'm going to introduce you to some of my broadcast friends and get you more exposure than I can give you even. But I think that you have a good opportunity to continue to grow and realize your dream. And I hope that and I know you're not doing it for this reason, but I hope that you can monetize it so that you can take care of your children. And that's
That's the most
important.
important thing.
Yeah,
It's,
absolutely. And
because I have daughters, and
yeah, man.
they're at that awkward stage right now where their self-esteem is so important. It can go
Hmm.
either way,
That's
it
right.
can go
That's right.
right now, and that's what I'm trying to protect. So that's why I try to spoil my kids. I try to let them know that you don't have to go out there and face peer pressure,
Right.
because you can always turn to someone and say, well, we're both, we're guys. So we
Right.
know if you love me, we know that whole if you love me. But I want my
Yeah.
daughter to be able to say, well, my dad loves me and he'll
Right.
do it for me.
That's
So
right.
that's my biggest goal is to protect my kids, to make sure that
That's
they grow
that's a
up
that's a beautiful thing about you, man.
valued.
I love that. That you care about your kids. You got two daughters, teenagers, right?
Right.
That's a tough time, and now you got
And
a
we're absent.
three-month-old. Yeah,
We're absent.
yeah,
Not might not even be by our own doing, but it could be by systematic design. But for
that's
whatever
right.
reason it is, we're absent. And when you see a
Yeah,
lot of these promiscuous young girls out there, they're actually looking for their father. They're looking for that
that's
male
true.
acceptance. And I don't
That's
want my
true.
girls to be caught up in that.
Yeah, well, don't let it happen, man. Just stay the course and
I promise I
love
won't.
them. Let them know that you're there for them, and don't don't ever have an issue that they are uncomfortable in talking to you about, and that's tough.
That's why I got two daughters. I was rough. I was rough on the girls coming up, so that's why I got two daughters.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, knock on wood, everybody's good. So
So,
things are all right. It's under
and
control.
I tell my daughters all the time, I said, listen, you cannot lie to me ever because my number one job is to protect you. And I
Hmm.
can't protect you if I don't have all the information.
That's right.
I
That's
have
right.
to be able to tell, and it doesn't matter, I'm going to love you regardless, but I
Right or
need you
wrong.
so I can protect you.
Hmm.
And also, Lee, and I can tell that we're probably going to wrap it up, but there's one nugget that we didn't get to that I want to drop to all of your listeners.
Sure.
And this is the most important nugget that they're going to have, right, when dealing with the cops. It is to learn their state penal code on presenting ID. And right, because a lot of times when we give up that Fourth Amendment right, we put ourselves in a lot of situations. Because when you answer a cop question, one question leads to another question.
Hmm.
And the next thing you know, you're sitting in the back of a police car.
That's right.
So the cop's going to come up to you and say, hey, do you have ID? In Florida, the penal code is 901.151. That is the penal code. And what that
Okay.
penal code reads is the only time that you're obligated to present your ID or your driver's license to a police officer is when you have been suspected of committing a crime, you're in the process of committing the crime, or you are about to commit a crime. If you haven't met those three um, bullet points, you do not have to ID because this is America. You have the Fourth Amendment, which is the right to be secure in your papers in effect, which
Mm.
means your right to privacy. You don't have to do that. And if we learn that, that that is the most important one of our rights that we have is to learning when or when not to present your ID.
So when you get pulled over for a traffic stop, are you obligated to give them your
You
driver's
are,
license and
you are,
insurance? Okay.
you are, you are,
Because
and
it's
it's
just,
written on your driver's license.
right.
But you also have the right to ask them before you give them your information. Why did you
When you're
pull me
being
over?
stopped. Right.
Right?
Right.
And if it's not something that they say, well, I just saw you circle the block 3 times, you don't have to give them your ID. That's not
Yeah.
against the
Right.
law.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
give them your driver. That's not against the law. And
That's right.
you absolutely should be requesting a supervisor
Hmm.
every traffic stop. You
Mm.
should request a supervisor. You have the right to know why you're being pulled over, and you have the right for them to identify themselves.
Right. And sometimes when you guys ask for that, they don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
again, it's ego.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to give up control of their perceived authority. But
Hmm.
with me, the first thing I do, you watch any of my videos where I have contact, the first thing I do is I take control. I take
Right.
control away from them immediately.
That's right.
So now they're playing defense. They're on the defense. So
Yep.
that's how you do it. But I also realize that again, I'm conscious enough to understand that this is my employee.
Yeah.
He's going to
Yeah.
treat me with respect, or he's going to violate my rights. Either way, I'm going to win.
Right. Exactly. Now, tell people how they can find you on YouTube and get in contact with you.
Okay, on YouTube, I am Big Nick South Florida Accountability, all separate words. That's Big Nick
Mhm.
South Florida Accountability. On Instagram, Big Nick South Florida. That's how you find me on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Nick Freeman. There's probably more than one Nick Freeman, but you'll see me. I have on all black tie.
Okay.
I'm 50 years old, so I haven't graduated to the Twitter sphere yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and to tell you the truth, Lee, why I haven't gotten there because I don't want to be checking my phone every 5 minutes.
Yeah. When you commit to getting on all of these different social media platforms, you become addicted and a slave to it because otherwise, if you're not active, it's not doing you any good. And
But I
it's so
know I need
funny
to go
when I
to
see
Twitter.
people doing this all the time.
Yeah, I know I
Um,
got to go to Twitter eventually.
right. Do you have a Patreon or GoFundMe or Cash App or anything like
I,
that that people can?
I do. I do. My well, if they go to my, if you're gonna, if you can post one of my videos because I don't know it right offhand.
Okay.
The catch, but on all of my videos, the link is there
Okay.
for PayPal or Cash App. It's all
Okay.
there. And I want anyone to know that anyone that donates to my channel, 100% of the profit goes back to my channel, whether
Okay.
it's equipment or whether it's travel, 100% of it, because I'm compensated by YouTube, right? And I don't want my subscribers to feel like they have to
Hmm.
support me financially as far as my living goes, because YouTube is owned by Google, which is $1 billion company, and
Right.
I've brought over 30 million views to their company, so I
Wow.
deserve to be compensated by them.
Good.
So I'm compensated by YouTube. So any donation goes to the channel to improve
Okay. How long have you been on YouTube? When did you start this channel?
it. April of 2018. I'm over 131,000 subscribers.
That's right. I saw it yesterday. That's
Yeah,
incredible,
it
man.
took
I got
off.
about 600 people on YouTube.
Oh man, we got it. That's all right. We're gonna get you there. Once I
Yeah,
post, we're gonna
yeah,
get you.
man. I'm bigger on
We're gonna at
Facebook,
least
but
get you to 1,000 so you can get monetized.
there you go. That's what I'm talking about. My thing is I want to teach people how to do this, and
Uh,
I'm getting ready to kick off a course and show people how to monetize, how to build a following on YouTube. And
yeah,
let me just say this about YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Unlike Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, all the rest,
yeah.
people come to YouTube for information, entertainment, or just whatever. But for the most part, information. If you go to YouTube and start typing in police
Anything,
brutality, anything, all of a sudden
anything.
you got a whole scroll of list of things that is related to what you're talking about. And
It's
that's
visual Google.
it
It's
is.
visual Google.
It is totally. So use it in that when you understand the value and how it works, you can make it do what it do. And there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people out there making a living. I was watching a YouTube yesterday, and this guy showed his check, $32,000 in 1 month off of YouTube. So, folks,
I
don't
know
just
people
play
that
with it.
make I know people that makes consistently 100,000 a month.
That's amazing,
Put it
amazing.
this way, one viral video, Lee.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever seen this video of the little kid coming back from the dentist. They must have gave him nitrous and he was a little loopy.
I did see that one. Yeah, yeah.
That one viral video bought them a house.
Shut up. For real? It was funny, but damn, that's amazing. But see, that's the power of the internet. That's the power of YouTube.
Yeah.
That's
Imagine if you
amazing.
get $8 per 1,000 views, right?
Mm,
And you got a video that has 179 million views.
you good. You straight. That's like hitting the lottery. That's
Some
amazing.
videos have more than that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's unreal. Well, listen, Nick, thank you for coming on the show. Let's do it again. And I'm going to be in touch with you because I want to chat more about what we can do together and help you continue to build this channel that you have. So
Please.
Let's stay in touch. God bless you.
Please do, Lee, because a lot of my friends that are successful, they talk about their mentors,
Mm-hmm.
and I can never join that conversation. So now I can.
Oh, stop.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
you're my new best friend.
I
And
appreciate
as my wife and I told you, you remind us of a dear friend that we lost a couple of years ago that you know,
it. Mutual.
Andre Eggleston and his family, wonderful people. So you're my new brother.
Thank you,
Because
sir.
that's what he was. All right.
God
God
bless.
bless.
Man. Be safe.
Big Nick, South Florida, for real.
Big Nick, South Florida accountability.